Hello, it's your girl Jay the coach. How are you guys today? Welcome back to Love Align. Ooh, I have some good stuff for you today. This is a beautiful couple who I've recently been introduced to through Facebook, and they have a wonderful story about their love life. Oh my God, I want to tell you if you're discouraged, don't be discouraged. This beautiful couple has a story, and how I found them was through a comment. It was so beautiful. It was actually through the husband. The husband made a comment, and I was like, wow, he's exactly what I need to encourage my audience, which are you ladies. And they're going to tell their story, so we're not going to delay it. They're going to tell their story. I thank you. Send this video out to anybody you know who needs encouragement. Send this video, like and subscribe it, send it out so that people can know that God is moving in the area of relationship. He has not forgotten about you. If you don't take anything else, know that he has not forgotten about you, and their love is going to prove it. I want you to meet now none other than Mrs. D and her husband. Okay, John, I thank you so much. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, we're doing good.
Oh, we're good. We're good. Yeah, we're good.
Yes, you are. Tell your beautiful story if you don't mind. How
Well,
did you
our
guys?
story has so many components to it, and we're going to try to condense it today. But it includes a loss, it includes redemption, it
Mhm,
includes God's sovereignty, and it
mhm,
includes being able to look back at the last 3 years and see how God's hand was involved. And
mhm,
even though at the time we didn't, I mean, he knew it a little bit more, but at the time our story kind of evolved so fast.
mhm,
But as we look back, we began to see God was moving all the pieces in our lives like a chessboard.
I like that.
So do you want to say how we initially met?
How we initially met. Um, think, well, yeah, we met on Facebook.
Mhm.
Um, I
Mhm.
don't. To this day, we still don't remember the exact
Well, it was a
name of the
yeah.
of the group.
Well, it was a black singles Facebook group.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she posted you posted a picture, and I made a comment.
Mhm, mhm.
um, and
His comment was, "Hey, gorgeous." He had made a comment. And
I
I
like.
had heard, I've gotten responses like that before, but it
Mhm,
was, and I'll say now, it had to be God. It had to be because there was something that drew me to the comment, even though I had heard it before. Went and checked out because as women, we will Facebook stalk
that's
everybody.
mhm.
And so when I
Who
went to
is
his
it?
Facebook, it just I felt drawn, and I'm like, let me
Mhm,
just, and then I said, DM me.
which was a shock because this is we always tell this part of the story. Um,
mhm,
I never once expected her to reach out to me. I never once expected anything to come from this. I never once expected to even. Uh,
mhm.
I never saw it happening. Never thought I was going to be with her. Just for the simple fact that I told her this afterwards. I thought she was catfishing me.
Hmm.
I didn't think the picture was real because I told her. I said I looked at it and I saw her and I said she's too pretty. And I was like, there's no
Mhm,
way. I'm like, there's no way this person is real. So I didn't really expect a response. And so
mhm.
when she asked me to DM her, I went, huh?
Wow.
so
Yes.
so I was
Yes.
so I was definitely shocked. So
Yeah, he thought I wasn't real.
yeah, I didn't
And
think
so,
she was
hence, video chatting very quickly
yeah.
Okay,
to
that's
make
what you have to
to make
do, to
sure.
get it out of the way, so you can make sure he's real. I got you.
Exactly.
Yes,
So,
yes.
well, because both of us had did a lot of online dating. I probably
Mhm.
did 3 years of online dating, and I did every single thing wrong that you can think of,
Wow.
ladies. Every
Mhm,
single thing wrong that you can think of. kind of specifically with my story was I had
Mhm.
ended up losing all this weight and I was feeling myself,
Oh,
and I was getting all this attention,
yeah.
and, got out there and had my running phase. Cause, I was in the
Mhm.
church my entire life and I never dated as a teenager,
Mhm.
and so I just kind of went through this phase where I was like, I just want to do me. And I think that's a little dangerous sometimes
Oh.
because,
Mhm.
you get to do you and
Mhm.
feel you and don't realize you're moving into some situations that aren't healthy. You're moving
Okay.
into some relationships that are not healthy,
Mhm.
and the attention got very addictive,
Mhm.
and slowly over time, it became, for me, it was a numbing mechanism to go out with some guy,
Mhm.
and enjoying the attention. And I was so shallow and blinded by the candy. I
Mhm.
only dated fitness trainers, lady,
Mhm.
and then even going off of the culture, I watched,
Mhm.
I think it was Insecure. That was like the worst thing I should have been watching off of BET because
Yeah.
just the culture was attractive and it
Mhm.
was, it was intoxicating but they
Mhm.
never told you the cost that was involved in that. I slowly
Okay.
just really began to lose myself in that. I
Mhm.
wasn't dating on purpose. I was just dating just because I wanted to be with
Hmm.
somebody. I wanted to go out and I didn't want to be
Mhm.
alone for the weekend. And, yeah,
Yes.
I didn't spend money in 3 years, but
Mhm. That is so bad. My husband jokes about that. Y'all just want free dates. Oh God, that's funny. I got you.
there was no substance. And I just
Mhm.
remember I wore out. I didn't think I was going to wear out. I wore out because I got tired
Mhm.
of the, nothing was sustainable.
Mhm.
Heartbreak, blocking, nothing was consistent,
Mhm.
and I started realizing that what I really was searching for, I wasn't going for. At
Okay.
deep down in my core, I was looking for someone that was compatible
Mhm.
emotionally,
Mhm.
mentally, and
Mhm.
spiritually. But I was
Okay.
sitting over here chasing this candy, this because
Mhm.
it was just like I can't believe this attractive man is even wanting to go out with me. Oh, this one want to go,
Mhm.
and then I just started realizing that there was no substance. Not
Mhm.
conversation wasn't there.
Mhm.
I couldn't talk about they didn't get any spirituality. Like even though I was running, there still was a part of me that was like would talk about God,
Mhm.
but there was a blockage and they couldn't meet me in that area. And I just remember, a couple of months before I met John,
Mhm.
I just remember even in my running, God was still trying to talk to me. It was if I wanted to listen or not. He knew
Mhm.
I was just wilding out. And it
Mhm.
was like
Mhm.
I was putting myself in dangerous situations, and I tell you, I had praying parents that were praying over me.
Mhm.
That there were situations, dangerous situations I put myself in that I'm convinced that if I didn't have praying parents, I may
Mhm.
not have made it through those situations. And I
Mhm.
just remember my dad was always praying, Lord, I know she's independent, I know she's strong, but bring her the man that you have for her,
Amen.
before I passed away. He passed away the year we got married, and yeah,
Yeah.
John actually, we got together exactly almost a year before my dad passed away. And it was enough time. Like
That's
when I say God put these pieces together, it's just crazy when we look back how he put these pieces together with us getting together. And
Mhm.
when I first started talking to John, instantly the communication was there. We met on
Mhm.
so many different levels. We could talk for hours. And I know some of these are the girl, I could talk to him all day. Well, come on, let's put this in
Mhm.
perspective. I'm just like,
Mhm.
it was just a range of very deep, things that we were able to connect on. And I remember what the Lord told me before I met John was, Deanna, you keep going
Mhm.
after all of these men who don't see you. They don't see you.
Oh,
The
that's
the
good.
man that I have for
Mhm.
you, the man that
Mhm.
I have for you will see
Mhm.
you. And I knew what that meant. It wasn't
Ooh.
just the you sexy, you beautiful, you. It wasn't.
Right.
It was the essence of who Deanna is. That man is
Mhm.
gonna see that. And I
Mhm.
remember probably 2 or 3 weeks into us talking
Mhm.
online because we were in
Mhm.
different states at this point. I remember
Uh-huh.
one day John said to me, "Deanna, I see you." He don't e- didn't
Ooh.
even know that that's what God.
And God just said that to you.
uh
Oh my goodness. Look how fast he moved.
Yeah, and
That's
it was the Lord. Yeah, he was using the Lord was really, because at that point I had done so many things in the flesh that I was ashamed of, that I just didn't feel like I could recover from. I didn't feel like that I could come back from. Especially you people, if you grew up in the church and all of a sudden you out and out, everything
Mhm,
you've done feels drastic, feels like it can't be forgiven, it can't be covered, and you feel dirty and you feel, he was the first person that, I could tell him things because he wasn't connected to my circle. He wasn't connected to any business people.
mhm,
He wasn't connected to nobody, you
mhm,
know. And I just remember, when God would come up, I was resistant because I just didn't feel like God would accept me where I was anymore.
mhm,
And I remember John telling me, Deanna, it's never too late to come back. And he said, God
oh,
accepts you the way that you are. Just come
mhm,
to him the way you are. And
mhm,
that began to draw me back to the Lord. It began to draw me back to the Lord. And it went so good for that month. I said, all right, I need you to come see me. I think this man was gonna fly to Texas to come see to
he
because
did.
I dated so many guys that just, empty promises, because I needed to know, because
Mhm,
you can develop an online relationship and
mhm,
it's not an in-person relationship. It's different.
mhm.
So if you're
Right.
thinking that, it's different dimensions to this relationship. And so I wanted to be convinced that whatever this connection was that was
Mhm,
getting deeper online, that it was
mhm,
something that was replicated in person, because I
mhm.
wasn't going to invest more time. Because we'll sit here and invest 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months
Ooh,
into
talk
something
about it.
and waste and stay just because we didn't invest in all this time. I wasn't willing to do that.
Mhm,
I was not.
mhm. I
Like,
agree.
and yeah,
I agree.
and when he came,
Mhm.
it absolutely was everything that I thought it was. It was
Wow.
absolutely everything that I thought it was. This man is someone I've never encountered before, just from character, because I'm such a person of character of like, where is this? Like, just to hear his heart, to hear
Mhm.
a man that is in therapy, a man that is accountable, a man that takes ownership for his
Yeah.
stuff. A
Okay.
man that is emotionally intelligent and emotionally healthy. I ain't got to help him,
Mm.
rescue him. I don't have to rescue him.
Yes, he came whole. That's what you're saying. Okay. That's what
I
he.
could be, yeah, I could stand in who I am as a woman and who God has called me to be, and I'm not babying or raising another man.
Mhm,
He puts the work in himself. And
mhm,
so after we met, I decided to go to his state and visit him and his mom there, and
mhm.
that's where I got sick. I almost died within the first month of us meeting, and I got very sick. I got septic.
Was it COVID?
I No, I was born with a deformity. I was born with an extra ureter. That's that pipe that goes from your kidney to your bladder. It drains your urine. Well, I was
Okay.
born with two of them on one side, and
Okay.
that's one in a
Okay.
million. One in a million are born with this defect.
Wow.
And it caused me to have repeated UTIs over the last 20
Mhm,
years.
mhm,
And the year the before I met John, I
mhm.
would have severe infections every 3 months. Every 3 months I'd have an infection, and they couldn't figure out. So by the time I went to Gulfport to see John, I progressively was getting sick. I
Okay.
was getting sicker, and ended up in the ER with the worst pain I've ever felt in my life.
Ooh.
And it turned out that that extra ureter had caused an abscess that was attached to my reproductive organ that
Mhm.
collected over 2 liters of pus, and it went septic. Um,
Wow.
and I to the it wasn't until months later. It took me about 8 months to recover from this. I didn't realize later how serious that was. I didn't realize
Yes.
how much my life was in danger. Um,
Mhm.
God was. I don't even know how to describe to you how God was in the hospital, because the trip that was only supposed to be a couple of days ended up being almost 2 weeks. And John never left my side. He never left my
Ah!
side in the hospital.
'Cause he was the right one.
He was
Only the right one
the
would do that.
yeah,
Other I'm out of
yeah.
here.
Yeah,
Bye,
we'd only
Felicia.
been talking 6 weeks, 6 weeks,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I was able to see this man's character in such a short amount of time. I mean, people thought we were married when we were there. You know, we were like, no, we just actually met each other. But
Mm.
there were things, there were husband things that John did for me in that hospital that only husbands will do.
Yeah. Did you say there were
Uh,
husband things that he did for you? That's
mhm.
beautiful. That's a
Yeah,
that's something that's very definitive. It says you said there were husband things that he did for you know how many times we meet people and they're just nice people at the beginning, like the representative, but
Hmm.
my husband did something similar. We have somewhat similar stories. It's so funny, but not funny. That
yeah,
that thing, husband duty. My husband did that to me. So I had a similar story to yours, but I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's God's sweet way of confirming who that person is that we prayed for. He's here, and He always presents him as a safe place. I can
yeah.
attest to
Yeah,
that. Mhm.
that I agree with that. I am safety is huge for me because I come from a trauma past
Yeah.
and I have to feel safe. Like it is that's a trigger for me, you know. And
Mhm.
I always felt safe with John. I never felt anything less than peace, you know.
Mhm.
And there were some scary. Our story didn't end there. I've had two surgeries since we've met,
Mhm.
and our whole relationship developed in hospitals. We've been in probably six different hospitals.
That's true. That's true.
I
Yeah,
was
we don't. That's how come if we don't have to go to the hospital, we don't go. Not because we don't need the help, but because we've been
right.
in them for so long, we're
So
not
much.
scared to go out and see them.
I know.
We ran repeated hospitals just because I kept getting infections and they couldn't figure out how to resolve it. It got to the point to where I had so many infections I was not resistant to all antibiotics.
Hmm.
And long story short, we met in February. John proposed
Mhm.
to me in June.
What? That
Uh-huh.
was
Yeah,
quick?
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Right?
actually, no, let me
I
finish
know.
here. We
Okay.
started talking in February. John gave
Mhm.
me a promise ring in May. Now I know that's old school. Some people don't know what promise rings are. He
I
was
know.
expressing his
Tell
intention
us
to
what it
me.
is.
Ladies, if
Yes.
you want, how do you know a man is into you? He's intentional. He's
Ah,
intentional. He
girl,
makes his intentions
learn
clearer.
something
There's no
new.
confusing.
Oh my God, that's my
That's
word.
right. I did give you I did give her a promise ring in May. The promise ring I gave her was my grandfather's wedding ring.
But
So
John, can I ask you a question? How did you
sure.
know she was that special person? Like you see a dozen, a trillion of beautiful. There's so many of
Well,
beautiful
let
women
me
to one
let
man.
me give let,
Tell
let
me.
me give you some backstory. I'll give you some backstory to answer that question because she's giving you
Yeah.
backstory on her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am previously married twice. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And made a lot of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and learned from those mistakes.
Yes.
I also had my running phase. I ran from my calling for about 12 years and ran
And
straight
your calling
into
is what?
say what?
What is your
My
calling?
calling?
Mm-hmm.
I teach. I'm a teacher and I'm also a youth pastor. Um, and
Okay.
so I ran for 12 years into straight into alcohol. So I
Mm-hmm.
drank for about 12 years. I'm 3 years sober as of this month, actually. And
Congratulations.
uh, as far as knowing that she's the one, it was interesting because
Mm-hmm.
the second week of January was when I rededicated my life to Christ. I had just come back.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and so I, told the Lord, this is about a month, probably about a month exactly before I met her. I said,
Mm-hmm.
Lord, I want to find somebody. I want to be married again. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I pretty much just left it at that. I didn't go into
Mm-hmm.
detail. I didn't because he knows your heart.
Right.
And about a month after that, it was when she showed up.
Well, no, you went to church. What did the pastor tell you?
Well, oh, you talking about what did Apostle Ware tell me?
Yeah,
Well, Apostle Ware told me that there was somebody for me.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She did. Yeah,
Oh,
she had. She. Oh, yeah, that's
he
true.
received a
Th-
prophetic word.
Yeah, I did. That's right. How can I forget that? Because I did. Yeah, I did receive the prophetic word. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Wow.
Apostle Ware, she said I was gonna meet somebody that was gonna totally just change my life. And
Wow.
yeah, it was a month after that that I
A month.
met. I started talking to Dean, and the whole time I was talking to Deanna, and she knew this afterwards. The Lord spoke to me about her like daily, like all the time. Like it was nonstop.
From the time you
And
first
so
saw her?
say again,
From the first time you sent the comment on her page?
uh, from the moment we started video chatting,
Okay.
from that moment on, the first time we video chatted, from that moment on, it was like God spoke to me about her all the time.
Oh,
Because I stayed in prayer. Um,
okay.
like from the moment we started talking, I stayed in prayer, like literally like on my knees in my bedroom floor in
Mhm.
prayer.
May I
Um,
ask you a question?
sure.
I want to ask you a question. So this process is like you're standing in prayer, you're before God. What does this look like in to her, to Deanna? What does it look like to her? How does she know? How is she being assured that you really you want to pursue her, not just with words? What type of actions did you do to, make her feel secure and let her know that I'm not giving up. I see something here and I know what I want and I'm coming for it.
Um, well, I said it.
You
He
just
was
said it.
consistent.
I
He,
said
You
I flat, I flat
consistent.
out said it, and like she said, I was
he was
consistent. I was
consistent.
intentional.
He was intentional and
And
consistent.
I prayed for her. I prayed for her when we were dating. So
Okay.
so so I not only did I pray for her face to face, but she always sent voice messages praying for her every morning. No, I made it known that I was
Oh,
intentional.
And
I
I
love
always
it.
got and he was consistent with the morning text, afternoon text, night text.
Yeah,
What?
You know, it was daily. It was, we gonna talk tomorrow. Was
Yes,
like,
I
he
love
wanted to
it.
make sure I wouldn't,
yeah,
because we
Yeah.
knew long distance relationship at the beginning, we would have to be intentional. If this is something we were going to do,
Mm-hmm.
we had
yeah,
to have contact.
yeah.
But I
Mm-hmm.
remember one of the things that stood out to me was,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, I hadn't been with a man who prayed for me. That felt weird. It took me some time to get
Mm,
used to that, because that was
really?
that was like, oh, I went, this is like, it felt good. And it was, and because the first time I visited him and his mom,
Mm-hmm.
I had already told him, I was like, hey, you can pray for my daughter, pray for me, and blah, 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 blah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you tell people, they'll be like, yeah, I'll pray for you. Well, when I went and
Yeah.
visited him and his mom, I remember
Mm-hmm.
looking on the counter, and there he had a notebook. And
Mm-hmm.
he didn't even know until later that I'd seen this. On this notebook was his prayer list, and at the top was me and my daughter. And I looked at that and I just went,
Wow,
okay, this is different.
ladies.
Yeah. I'm serious.
Wow.
I'm
It
living
sounded
this.
like you were a priority to him, and you saw
Yes,
that. That wasn't
Yes,
just lip
yes,
service, but now you see it on paper, you see it in his
yes,
actions. So there's just so
yeah,
much confirmation coming at you.
yeah,
So I wanted ladies
yeah,
to pick up on that because when men are interested in you, they are intentional. And that's a word that I
yes,
use all the time. If a man is not intentional about you, you're not the one. I don't care how much
no,
yes.
time you spend with him. Please just drop him, block him,
that's
whatever you
true.
need
Yeah, that's true.
move on
He wasn't
because when
gonna
a man
take a risk.
no, it takes long, yeah, to know what you want. Can you say that again, Miss Deanna?
He wasn't gonna risk losing me to somebody else. He was like, I got to lock this in. He's like,
Hmm.
I got to lock
You
this
were
That's
in.
true.
locked
That's true. And
in.
because I sought the Lord on it, and I told the Lord, I said, I flat out told him,
Mhm,
I don't want to lose her. I don't want to lose this one. I said, tell me what I need to do. I said,
Mhm,
whatever you tell me
mhm,
to do, I'm going to do it. And
mhm.
so every
mhm,
time he told me to do something, I did it.
And he
yeah,
needed to,
I
because
followed his word to a T. I was like, you
yeah.
tell me what to do, I'm gonna do it. I'm
wow,
not, I'm not, I'm not giving up.
Mhm.
So, well,
that
like we've discussed this before in the past.
mhm,
I attribute it to uh, Jacob and Rachel.
uh-huh,
So yeah, I mean, I'd have waited. Hey, if I had to work an extra 7 years, hey,
mhm,
Well, well,
Wow. That's a
nah,
labor
no,
of
And I
love.
yeah,
Oh.
no,
and
no,
I'll tell you
yeah,
this,
well,
like
yeah,
I'll say this, that
Mhm.
the man who wants to be with you,
Mhm.
if he sees something that's important to you, you
Mhm.
won't have to ask him to do it.
that's true.
And I
Mhm. Girl, girl. Did
there
you
were
just
some
say what
things
you
that
said? Oh,
there
you
were
dropped
some
it a
things
lot.
that were important to me
Mhm.
that John did without me even asking. Like one of them was I like to go to the gym, and
Mhm.
I wanted to be with someone who would enjoy experiencing that with me, going to the gym. So,
Mhm.
self-care and being
Mhm.
healthy has become my new lifestyle. Yeah. And so we would be talking and he knew that was it because I would talk about it. I'm going to the gym, blah, blah, blah. Well,
Mhm.
probably a week or so, he was like, well, I got a gym membership.
Oh, that y'all can go together. I love it.
Lost 50
Mhm.
pounds. 50
What?
pounds.
You lost 50 pounds.
Yes, he lost 50 pounds. Like, man, they lose weight
Hmm.
instead of
What? Oh
but
my
that
What?
right there
Wait.
spoke to
Hold on.
me
I know this
that
don't have nothing to do with weight loss, but what did you do? How did you do that? Just working out, or you was doing what? That somebody want to know that too, because they waiting on they Joseph, and they're like, "Hey, I'm trying to get into shape. What can I do? What did you
It's
do?
a
Just
lot of,
look."
well, it's a lot of things. One, change. Well, first of all, I'll backtrack a little bit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, I mean, if you drink, I don't. I'll put it this way, I don't judge people who do drink, okay? Because I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But if it's
Mm-hmm.
something that you cannot control, if it's something you have a problem with, if it's something that
Mm-hmm.
has a hold on
has
you.
a hold on you, you need to
Mm-hmm.
quit. And
Mm-hmm.
so that would be my first thing is quit drinking.
Quit
Because you quit
drinking.
drinking, you'll drop weight without even doing anything.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then second of all, I mean, baby steps. Because what I did was baby steps. I was on the treadmill like what, maybe 10 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
maybe ten
That's it.
minutes every other day. Yeah,
I
Sorry.
don't like men. They can burn weight
until
just
I'm
drinking.
sorry, baby. Until 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 you get to where you can do more. Do
Okay.
more, and then also change your diet. Quit. Because I know for us as African
Mm-hmm.
Americans,
Uh-huh. Like to eat.
we eat, and what we eat is unfortunately not good for us.
Mm-hmm.
So go from
Yeah.
fried chicken to baked chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Make your greens without all the grease in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just change
Right.
how you make things, because a lot of the stuff that we eat is actually available to eat gluten free,
Mm-hmm.
so you can make it healthier. So
Mm-hmm.
just change your eating habits, baby
Mm-hmm.
steps in the gym. You don't have to go full force. Because I mean,
Okay.
granted, now I'm in the gym twice a week. I'm hitting the
Okay.
machines.
Okay.
Chest, arms, everything. So
Okay.
it's a whole other story. But that wasn't overnight. That's 3 years.
But listen,
Okay.
ladies, that's how I
Congratulations.
would talk. And that's when he adopted. I would
Mhm.
talk about how I had changed my eating habits.
Mhm.
There's
Good.
thing, John knew that I had only dated fitness trainers.
Ah, yeah, a little motivation. Motivation.
He
I'm
had
gonna be that
dated
guy she
guys.
looking at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
I
had a
like that.
was kind of I
Mhm,
was a little shallow back then because
mhm.
and he knows this. At the same time that
Yeah.
I started talking to him, I was talking to someone
Mhm.
in New York who looked just like Tupac. He looked just like Tupac, and I was like,
Mhm.
and
What's up with
but
Tupac?
but here's the thing. I had a really good friend help me with that. She said, Deanna, how has that mountain helped you? You've been around this mountain, picking candy, been around, ain't no conversation there. There's no substance. There's no emotional connection, no spiritual connection, no mental
Pick.
connection. And John
Mm.
had every single connection that I was looking for. He resolved
Check,
the
check.
issue of me going, well, babe, I was like, well, no, he ain't got no six pack. What is happening here? I was like, he did it on his own. He did it on
He did
his
on his
own
own. Oh my goodness.
because he knew
See
it was
what love
something
will do to you.
he,
The motivation.
what his competition was. He was gonna make
Mhm,
sure he was gonna be at the top of the game. He was intentional with his body. I never asked John to stop drinking. He came to me
mhm,
and he said, I was in prayer and the Lord told me to stop. He said, this is a hold on me, and the Lord told me to stop, and I stopped. We both stopped. I stopped,
Mhm.
you know,
Support. Yeah.
and it's been 3 years. We've not had one drop. We stopped cold turkey. We stopped cold turkey.
That's Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I was about to say somebody was like, I can't put
well,
it
no,
down. So
trust me, it
look,
is because
God in there. Okay.
at my job where I
Yeah.
work,
Yeah.
one of the things that I'm responsible for, I'm a grocery manager, and
Mhm.
one of the things I'm responsible for is straightening the wine and beer section, but I also have to receive it, and to be able to do
Mhm.
that and not,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
that's the Holy Spirit. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
Mhm.
Wow.
That
No
is not within
temptation
my
at
own
all.
strength. Trust me, that's not
That's
my strength.
deliverance. That's deliverance for real. When you can
God,
say
that's
that and
God's
then
strength.
yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So, but
So
like I always say, I mean, that she's here, she's heard me say this a billion times, but therapy, Jim, and Jesus. You got to stay in therapy.
And that's what I tell you.
Guys,
Yes.
if you're a
right.
guy watching this, man,
Yeah.
especially if you are a black male, do not be afraid to go to therapy.
Mhm.
Just do it.
I
Even if
agree.
like I said, baby
Mm,
steps. Even if it's just 15 minutes once a week, go to
right.
therapy.
Mhm.
And then stay in the gym because that's how you burn your stress off and you don't take that stress back to your wife and your
Mhm.
children. And then
Mhm.
Mhm.
obviously, if you don't know the Lord, you need to know the Lord. You got to
Uh-uh.
have a relationship with Jesus.
Mhm.
How
So,
important is that?
therapy with Jesus.
How
Mhm.
important is that
Yeah.
to have a relationship with Jesus when you're dating someone to include them into your relationship?
How important is it?
Hmm. When you're
Oh,
dating someone, you want to
it's
include them
extremely
into
important because that's extremely important. It keeps you centered.
the. Okay.
Because well, I mean, well, actually, I just preached on this. Yes, yes, it's our hearts that are involved when you're getting with somebody, but at the same time,
Hmm.
the Bible teaches us that the heart is sick and the heart is deceitful, and also at the same time, you can't trust the heart. So if you're going to
Super
get a
good.
relationship with somebody, you got to have Jesus in your heart to make sure that you
Mm,
don't go down the wrong path with the wrong person. So it's very
exactly.
important to have Jesus as the center. So,
Hmm.
Well,
um,
Hmm.
because he treats me right because he's accountable to God.
yes, you got to be accountable to
So
Jesus.
find a
He
man that's accountable to God, and it may work
Yes.
out.
and that's what really stood out to me was that was another thing was
Hmm.
I like if I were asking him, hey, what are you doing today? And he'd be like, well, I'm gonna go to therapy. I like you don't even know what women. You know how
Yeah.
many people
What
I've
kind of
dated
man
that I
that's doing
was
it?
trying to convince you need therapy, you need counseling, you need rehab, you need, and it was just like not seeing the point of it, blah 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 blah. And to find somebody, I mean, that right there was like 1,000 brownie points for him to say
He
that he
working
was
through
in therapy.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah, because I can be an overthinker, and I had been married before. I was married for 18 years.
Hmm.
And I didn't want to do this wrong again. If I was going to get married again,
Same.
yeah,
I didn't want to do
it was going to be for life. I'm like, I'm not trying to make the same mistakes. I'm not trying to bring in the same baggage, the same
That's
trauma.
why I went back into therapy.
Exactly.
So did you do
Yeah, I
therapy?
stayed in therapy.
You did
Huh?
it too. Okay. So you did
Oh
therapy
yeah,
as well.
I
Okay.
believe it there. I've been in
Oh yeah.
therapy.
Hmm.
I did not date for 5 years after my divorce on purpose. On
So you took
purpose.
time out for you to find you and heal and all that before you start to date another
Exactly.
person. Okay.
I needed to heal. I needed to heal. I wasn't trying to bring into this relationship.
Hmm.
That wasn't fair to him to do that,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
I was looking for somebody who can carry their own emotional weight, that they were responsible for themselves because I was
Hmm.
with someone who was mentally ill, you know?
Hmm.
And so that was really important to me to see that he took ownership for his
Hmm.
emotions. He took
Yes.
ownership for his actions. And I
Yes.
was listening for that because I had known, he had already been married twice. That could be a red flag. I was going,
Hmm.
oh, snap. I need to know who I'm dealing with. I need to
Yeah.
know, have you learned from this? I need to
It's
know.
easy to
Like, I
judge.
was
Yeah.
listening.
And kids.
Yeah. Yep. Before I got emotionally involved, I was listening. I was
Right.
watching.
Okay.
I was watching for consistency in his behavior. I was
Consistency
looking
and
for
your woman's
consistency.
intuition.
Yes, I
And
was looking for,
what you
and there was a lot of key things that he said to me that led
hmm
me, that showed me this
hmm
man is on the
hmm
road to healing. This man has done a
Okay.
lot of work of healing, and
Mhm.
I mean, to this
Mhm.
day, John does the same thing every morning. He gets up and he sits before the Lord. I've never been with a man like that. I've
And
never,
so,
ever, ever,
yeah. So is
ever.
did you say he helped you mature your relationship with Christ once you got with him?
Yes, he showed me what the love of Christ looks like and how
Mm.
a man can be strong in a healthy way, and how a
Mhm.
man can be strong and not be abusive. A man can be
Mm.
strong and not overbearing. A
Mm.
man can be strong and know how to utilize his strength in a godly way. He's been so tender. This man has served me
Ooh.
consistently like I've never seen before. And I've never had a man serve me. And I had to get
Oh,
used to what that looks like to have a man
yeah.
serve me, to get
Yes.
down and dirty and I'll get a little bit TMI. After we
Mhm.
got married and I had my last severe infection, we were
Mhm.
not allowed to have sex for 6 months. We
Mhm.
were not allowed because they feared my if I got one more infection, it would kill me. You
Oh,
know, and let me say the praise report before I like go into like, oh my God, that's great.
yeah.
Was I had my last surgery a year ago and they fixed and I'm healed. They fixed the situation. I've not had one
Yeah.
infection in a
Ooh.
year. This month, I've not had one infection.
It's been
I've
a
lost 50 pounds since then. And
ooh,
it has just been
look at
it's
God.
been a yeah, it's been a God thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, this man has walked me through every single infection in the last 3 years. And when
Ah.
they told us that we couldn't be intimate, he didn't complain. He
Mhm.
didn't he didn't pout. He
'Cause you're his
didn't. It was
person.
none. Yeah, it was. He was Deanna. Your health is more important. He's like, I love you, and my body had been used so many times with different men in my
Mhm.
life. So to be
Mhm.
with someone where it was like, I'm not with you because of your body. I like your
Mhm.
body,
Mhm.
but
Mhm. Of course, like, of course I do. That's why I put that ring.
yeah,
I got you.
yeah.
That's what I'm
But to
talking
to have
about.
that safety, to have
Yeah,
that safety
safety
of just
net.
like, I'm not with you because of your body. If we
Mhm.
never can be intimate the rest of our marriage, I'm here. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. And I needed to see that and I needed to hear that. This has been the healthiest relationship I have
Hmm.
ever been in. And when
Hmm.
I tell you, when all you've known is toxic, you have
Mhm.
to make that transition and be ready for that healthy man. Some of us ain't ready
Right.
for the healthy man. We think they
Mm-mm.
are. We enjoy our single life and,
Mhm.
don't understand when you get married, you got to let go of that single mentality. You got to
Exactly.
get let go of that. I'm an independent. I'm a boss. I'm a this. I'm a that. You have to make room for this man and make. I just.
Ooh, you said so much, D. Ooh, you said so much. The I don't even know where to start. What you said. You said so much. There's so much that we overlook for the sake of having a man. And
Yeah.
the stuff that
Or
you
a woman.
just go ahead. Go ahead. Say what you said.
I was gonna say or a woman.
Well, I mean, I guess, but the women I talk to
Hey.
is
Yeah,
always
I mean, I'm speaking. I'm
overlooking
speaking from
something.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying. I mean, I'm speaking from
Mhm.
experience. I mean,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not. Uh, how should I put it?
Mhm.
I love my children. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, and however, though, I do know that when I do think back about it,
Mhm.
if you had listened to what God had asked you to do in the first place, you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Instead of trying to do things on your own, and
Yes.
that's kind of the biggest thing about relationships that we have to understand is
Mhm.
um, you have to. There are a lot of times you have to be patient. What
Hmm.
God's gonna tell you
Mhm.
to wait, especially in
Mhm.
relationships. You just gotta wait. I mean, if
Mhm.
it's not your time, it's not your time. Don't try to force something uh,
Mhm.
that you don't need to be in. Don't force a relationship that you don't need to be in just because you don't want to be
Right.
alone. You know,
Right.
um, yeah, so if the Lord's telling you to wait and you've
Mhm.
got to wait 10, 15, 20
Mhm.
years before
Mhm.
your Rachel or your Boaz
Mhm.
shows up, then that's what you're supposed to
Mhm.
do.
And you have to be open to what this
Mhm.
person this person may be because
Mhm.
John was different for me because I was used to date this certain type of man. We have our
Mhm.
type. We watch Pop the
Right.
Balloon on YouTube, so we say,
And that's digging. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
Have
it
our
takes us
type.
longer to become our type. Yeah.
Yeah,
And we're not
and
open to anything else. Yeah.
we're not open to anything exactly.
That part.
And
Yep.
John is a self-proclaimed nerd.
Right.
He's
I
very
love nerds.
nerdy, sci-fi. I've never met a black man into any of the stuff that this man is into. I was
My
just like,
husband's a nerd, so I love it. Yes, that's my type too. He's into politics and everything. He just love all that stuff. I'm just like, it's
mhm.
amazing to me. He's smart, very smart. I
That's
love
what
the
that's what I
intelligence.
learned, and I realized that I was attracted to it. If I hadn't
Hmm.
been open to it, I never would have. I would have missed out on something great, because I was set on, oh, a man's supposed to be like this or act like this, or I just we have our list, right? And we're so quick
Hmm.
as women
Yes.
to discount somebody because it
Hmm.
doesn't quite fit in, and
Hmm.
where our list should be just a reference, it becomes deal breakers. Everything is a deal breaker. Everything is a deal breaker.
Yes. I would say like for me, one of the deal breakers would be like spirituality part. I would just
Yeah.
would not be able
Oh
to
yeah.
date you if you don't have God in your life for me.
Oh
But the
yeah.
other
That's a
stuff
given. Yeah.
is superficial. We can do without that stuff, the six pack, the height, oh, look at his car now. But that's today. He could be driving this tomorrow. But it's the process. You can't pick somebody from based on what kind of car they drive, based on
Yeah.
Mhm.
if they have a big crib or they got a six pack. That's why so many women are single right now, because we're picking from a superficial place, and we
Yes.
have to
Yeah.
change that if we want to find love. It's okay to have a type of a you know I like this type of person, maybe somebody with hair and somebody that doesn't have hair, you know
Mhm.
but when it's like a height, they can't change their height. They could be a wonderful person and they're just not at least 6 feet, and you just turn your head and you just go on. And it could be the man of your dreams. And I always tell women that you cannot overlook a man based on where he is or something he can't control,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
his height or whatever else is going on. But you found a wonderful man who didn't have a six pack when you met him, but probably have one now. And it's like you're happy. You haven't stopped grinning since you came on, since we pushed live. And that's what we need. Everybody wants
Yeah.
that type of love. Not the
Yeah.
superficial look at me on social media, and then the person is
Mhm.
like, taking the axe to you. But it's like
Yeah.
Mhm.
this love was marinated, over
Yeah.
time and through prayer.
Yeah.
So you work for
Yeah.
this and you got it, and you guys are building on something so beautiful. And many people, I guess we're tired of the superficial stuff. I know I am.
Oh, yeah.
We want
Yeah.
to see real couples who are really in love and they're really pursuing something that's going to, carry them maybe to, hopefully to death do you part,
Yeah.
but not just a
Yeah.
temporary love. No one wants
Yeah.
that. No one gets married and say all those vows and spend all that money for a dress for a person they sexy, because this is something that I would want people to take away. A person, say you marry this person is so perfect in looks and everything, they're great on paper, this that and the other and the third, is all this is going on. However, say for instance, I like to say this as this is something that keeps me grounded. Say this person, when I was dating, and it's like God gave me this, and I want other women to consider this as maybe a little graphic or whatever. But I always say, when you meet somebody and you're like, okay, he's nice looking, she's nice looking, which I deal with women, but we'll say, but for both, if a male come across this, that person is very nice looking, they look good on paper and all that, okay, that's fine. But however, what if you're looking at this person, you're like, I really would like to, I'm looking to get married, and this person is talking pretty good, so he could be the one. I don't know. You're still in that place where you don't really know who that person is. I say, look at it this way. You're sitting across from this person, this man or this woman, and you say, okay, we've been dating for some time. I really wouldn't mind taking it further. Ask yourself this: if this person was in a car accident, if they had some kind of a medical problem, anything happened, if they, I know I want children really bad, but if that person can't give me children, would I still want to be with that person? Would I still want to love
Mhm.
them? They lost the legs. Will I be willing to take care of them? They lost an arm, an eye, they went blind, whatever is the most graphic thing you can think of. But if you say, oh, I can, no, I'm out of here. That's not your
Mhm.
person to me, because
Mhm.
there, when I met my husband, I had a medical thing going on. He was there. He was there for me. He provided husband duties for me, just like
Mhm.
your husband did for you. Then we just met. You know what I'm saying? He was just there, supportive, not knowing me, but he's like, I'm not leaving your side. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. It's like another person would have been like, oh, I didn't sign up for this. This is too much. You know, you got this going on, you got that going on. I didn't sign up for that. But this is what I'm saying. Ask yourself, would I bounce if I got the call, or if I this is my situation. The doctor says she can't have children, or he's shooting blanks, or this person was in a car accident. Now they in a wheelchair. Where's your loyalty? You say, no, I love
Mhm.
this person. I really want to take it. If he didn't have this, if he couldn't give this to me, if she couldn't give this to me, I'm still here for it. That might be your
Mhm.
person, because
Mhm.
God, he gives us he gives us a grace for the person that we are supposed to be with. He
Mhm.
gives us a,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
grace and an anointing. And it's like somebody else would have been gone. Him like, girl, you got too much going on when you went through that. But that God anointed him for you. He's your person. And that's why he
That's
stuck
good.
around.
That's
That's what
good.
I
Yeah.
would.
Yeah. And what you said is true because I remember when she and I were
Mm-hmm.
thinking back and talking about
Mm-hmm.
her being in the hospital when she came to visit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the things we said was it definitely had to be God because I know some dudes that if they'd have been in my position just would have just
Mm-hmm.
bounced. They
Right.
never would have. Yeah, yeah, they
Exactly.
would have. And,
Well, I've had
Mm-hmm.
guys who
yeah,
stopped talking to me when I
yeah,
got
yeah.
sick.
She had guys talk. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
See,
Let's
I've
stop.
had
Immediately
to.
stop talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so that was a definite sign.
Yeah,
Right there. Because I wasn't gonna leave her side. I was there. I
I
was there
like
morning, noon, and night. Yeah, because I
that.
went straight from yeah, because I went straight from my job to the hospital. I never yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I say you
So
two became best friends very quick.
Very, yes.
yes, yes,
Best
yes.
friends.
Well, because
Yeah.
we found out
Well,
we had a lot. We found out we had a lot in common.
We had a lot in
mm-hmm.
common.
Mm-hmm.
Just between mainly between
Mm-hmm.
her music and my radio career is pretty much a lot of it. Is where we really connected on a lot of things. And then just from her, what she does in ministry and what I do in ministry,
Mm-hmm.
was big in us connecting. So
And it was
Wow.
effortless. It was
yeah,
so
It
effortless.
yeah,
was
it
It
was.
was
effortless.
so
Okay.
effortless.
Good word. Yeah. No work. Not
Very
too much work.
peaceful.
Easy work though. You're gonna have your
Mhm.
trouble. And the thing is, you guys went straight into a storm from the beginning, and you didn't have time to even figure things out. So it's good to go through something with the spouse, the person you're thinking about marrying, because you're going through a season. When you just get straight in and you haven't been through anything, and then there's something hits soon you said I do, then it's like panic time. Call the fire department because I didn't sign up for this. But you guys
Yeah.
now went straight into a storm, and it built
Mhm.
you to last.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
that's true.
And I'll tell ladies, because I'll go back to this insecure. That show.
Uh-huh. It's cute.
Lord,
That's your
that
favorite.
show. Don't like that show.
She's still watching something tell me that.
I'm telling you, we I just there is nothing like spiritual anointed making love. There is nothing like that.
What's
And
it? Tell me about it. What is different about it? What is so different
because
about that love from God,
it
from
it's
the
it's
real one?
the world makes it seem like you can have a one night stand, you could just have
Mm-hmm.
sex and you could just walk
Mm-hmm.
away and you
Mm-hmm.
don't realize you just lose a little bit of yourself every single time, and
Mm-hmm.
And just
Mhm.
That's true.
to have sex with someone with hollow eyes and
Uh,
someone who just walked away,
mm,
and you just feel like whatever fulfillment you thought that you were going to get out of it,
mhm.
is not there. It's not there,
Wow.
and for some people who may think, well, how am I gonna know if I marry
Mhm.
this person if we're sexually compatible? I'm just like,
Uh-huh.
I think you're missing it. You're missing it because if you think that sex is just a physical component, that it's just a
Mm,
physical act, and you don't think that our
mhm,
souls are involved, you don't think that the spirit is
mm.
involved in that,
Ooh.
and I this was the first
Mm,
man that I had been with that I
mhm.
truly felt like we were making love. Like
Yes.
and what
I
that
know what
felt, it
you're
was
talking about.
different.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
the spiritual, I never thought that you can spiritually feel an anointing in the bedroom,
Ooh,
that you can
girl.
feel God in that. It's different and
Ooh,
it's
you
worth
preaching.
waiting for. It's worth waiting for. And I feel like that
Yes,
we get in trouble because we're so tired of waiting, and it's exhausting and
yes,
it's
yes,
lonely,
yes. Mhm,
and because I got divorced in 2015. We got married in 2023. You do the
okay.
difference between that.
Mhm,
you know
mhm,
God knows the timing of when he wants to bring you in union with someone, and it is
mhm,
hard, it's very difficult.
mhm,
But the
mhm,
alternative, if
mhm,
you get impatient and you start taking it in your own
mhm,
hands, there's so
mhm.
much trouble you can get into. There's so much trouble,
Mm,
there's so much heartache, so
mhm,
much heartache that
mm,
I should have wait when I started online dating. I should have
mhm.
just stopped and waited for John.
And he found you. He all up in your stuff. You didn't
Yeah,
even
but
have
it
to be
wasn't even
typing
what I
away.
was looking. Yeah,
You didn't
it
even have
it
to
it.
send a like.
mm,
I
I'm
like
here to
that.
say it's worth the
Mhm.
wait. It was a long wait, but it is worth the
Mhm.
wait because the life of peace that we have, to be in a healthy relationship, to
Yes.
enjoy life and to have
Mhm.
peace every day, you can't
Peace.
put any money on that. Yeah, you can't put any money on that.
Ooh, I like that. I'm looking at two friends who found love. That's how I see you guys. You guys are the picture of love, triumph, just trusting in God for everything. And that's what a lot of us are doing. We don't really know what we're doing, but we just pray and we just step out on faith, and God helps us along the way. And you're just two people that trusted God for God to navigate you guys together on the same path. And He brought you guys together at the perfect timing to be a blessing with your story. And there's so many people that are discouraged. I want to say some, ask John. I know somebody in a long term relationship, and there's different states as well. But this guy, I want you to talk to women who hold on to men who don't give them nothing. I'm just here. I'll send you a text every now and then. I'll call you when I want to call you. I'll come see you when I come see you once a year. I miss your birthday. I miss every major holiday. But I'm your man and I don't like people cheating on me. What kind of what would you say to a woman that's just wanting love and they found it long distance, but they still they're not fulfilled, they're frustrated, but at least I got somebody. How do you help women? They really believe that this person has good intention. Why? Because he said so. What would you say to women who trust everything a man says, be it in the same state, two different states, and then he never makes any effort? He's not even intentional about bringing it in. It's been 4 years, and they're
It's
more apart than they were when they first started, when it was 6 times a year. Now it's once a year, and that's like it's what can you say to a woman that just has so much hope and just want to believe the best?
it's been 4 years and they're in the same state or in separate states.
Still in the separate states, and gets to add, if the person brings it up, and when are we going to see each other, or when this, this person, I don't want to talk to you. I'm going to hang up. I don't like you starting arguments. Just divert. And
Well,
there are women that are going
I
through
mean,
this. She represents a people that are doing this.
just to be brutally honest, um, yeah, I'm gonna have to be direct.
Please.
You gotta let that man go. I mean, I'm
Why?
just gonna be there because if he's not putting in any effort and he's not being intentional, I mean, it's been 4 years. Um,
Mhm.
he should have done something already. If he hasn't done something already, then it's not happening. If he was for real and he was serious, um, he would have. Well, first of all, he would have moved her to where he is within that first year, or he would have been there within that first year. Um, I mean, I I mean, I went from Gulfport to Dallas in a year.
Because you
So
knew what you wanted.
yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, or was it a year or was it less than a year? I can't remember. It's probably yeah, it was a year.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it was a year. Because I knew what I wanted. So I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, no, I mean, it's time. I mean, like I said, I hate to say it, but it's time for you to cut ties and move on because that man's not serious. He's not serious. He's stringing you along, and he's just using you. He's using you because he knows you're not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Mm.
yeah, he knows you're not going
Even though
anywhere,
he
so he's
says he has good intentions and he would like to get married one day, but I think his last relationship was out of town. So to me, he's emotionally unavailable. So I, I,
yeah,
I think because I'm a female, it's like, what do I know? But I think from a male's perspective, you know how y'all feel, how quick y'all
yeah, yeah.
know
I know
when
how we
something
are.
is
He's
not for
not. He's
you
not
before
serious.
you. It doesn't
He's not
take four
serious at
years.
all. No, it doesn't take
Yeah.
4 years, and he's not serious at all in any way, shape, or form. If he was
Yeah,
serious, he would have already put the ring on it and married her a long time ago.
mhm.
It would have been at least 2 years after they got together. I mean, that's. I mean, it gets once you get past 2 years, then you need to start going.
And
So
he doesn't like PDA, public affection, you guys. Displays of
public
affection.
displays of affection. Oh,
Displays
he's
of
definitely
affection.
not
He
into you.
doesn't like he comes in. Wait. I got one
I'm,
more. He comes in late at night.
I'm
So
sorry, I didn't mean to react like that, but
yeah,
no,
so
he's definitely not
don't
into
hold my
you.
hand. Don't we don't kiss in public, and he comes in at night. But he says I love you every day when they talk, and it's like bombarding the conversation like I'm gonna call you every day. If I'm talking to the person, they have to get off and answer because I don't want to know if you. I don't want to think you're cheating. So this person is like, but I waited so long, Lisa. So I wanted to hear
No.
from a male's perspective because some woman is probably dealing with a long term or just a person sitting
Yeah.
right next to them, and the guy's like,
Hmm.
"Oh, one day," but you because you keep bringing it up, it ain't gonna never happen. Or because
Yeah.
you keep saying I want to get married, I'm gonna make you wait and all
Yeah.
this other stuff. So I know a
I
man,
mean,
it
just
doesn't take that long.
as an example, just as an example, I know we're already married, but I mean,
Hmm.
when she comes to visit me at work, she'll tell you I
Hmm.
kiss her right there in front of everybody, right on the lips.
I
I mean,
love it.
yeah, yeah, and trust me, I'm hugging her. Trust.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, ain't nobody up here
Yeah,
to compete
no,
with
no,
you. Yeah.
hey, yeah,
I love it.
I don't play. So I mean,
Yes.
I've always shown her affection in public.
And he's
You're
the
not
most
ashamed of your love.
secure. Yeah,
What
and he's the most secure
you
man in
mhm,
himself that I've ever met. He knew upon the first time meeting me, I get a lot of attention in public from men.
mhm.
Yeah.
And
Well, I see why. You're pretty. So
Yeah.
and that's why he's
and
very like, I'm gonna stay on this. I'm staying on top of this. Yes.
yeah, yeah, well, and what I've had experience in the past was seeing men that were upset with me or
Mhm,
intimidated by that or blah 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 blah
mhm,
blah,
mhm.
and it doesn't phase him because his thing is she comes home to me, bro. Like I ain't even you ain't got
I
nothing
like
on what
it.
I get what I
Yeah,
lay
why get
down here.
mad at a
I,
woman because somebody looking at
yeah,
him? You can't control
yeah,
that.
it
Yeah.
it doesn't bother him at all, and to be with
That's
someone
yours,
who
and
is
she coming home to
secure.
you.
Yeah, he is secure. We trust
Yes.
each other. He trusts me, and he knows that that no man is a threat. No man's a threat.
I like that.
No man's a
'Cause
threat.
he's secure
Zero.
in his manhood. He
Mhm.
knows who he is to God. He knows who he is to you. He knows that he put time in and he's invested in this relationship. So he's not going to just throw it away because he invested in it. Yeah, I like
And then
that.
also, like what you said
Hmm.
earlier, John
Hmm.
knew that I was a person of time frames.
Hmm.
Women, if you don't have time
Hmm.
frames on yourself before you get into these relationships,
Tell me
where
about this. Tell me about your team
I mean,
frames.
I had time frames of like, because I'll fall and I'll fall hard. I know how I fall for
Mhm.
and so when it came to John, I gave it a time frame of, okay, we're gonna talk virtually for a couple of months. Let's see how it goes. We need to meet. Let's see how that goes. Within 6 months, we know you know within 6 months if this is I'm not saying you're gonna get married in 6 months, but you know in
But you
six
know,
months if this is someone that you can present to mom and dad, if this is someone that you would marry. I
yeah,
knew. I knew in
crazy
six
got to
months
show
if
up
this.
at some point. If you crazy,
Yes,
crazy's gonna show up
yes,
on the scene. You
Already.
can't hide it too
yes,
Oh
long.
yeah, crazy gonna
Come
show
on
up
now.
quick. Crazy
yes,
shows up
Yeah,
quick.
it's like
Trust me. I know from experience. Crazy
yes,
shows up quick.
yes.
yeah.
But
So he knew I had a
What
time
are we
frame
waiting? Yeah.
of I don't want to waste my time. I don't
Uh-huh.
want to get my heart entangled. So I didn't push it. I didn't have to keep telling him anything about
Mm-hmm.
getting married and being exclusive. I didn't have to do. He was the one
yeah,
that came to me and said, I would like to be exclusive. What do you think about that?
yeah. And I already knew I could take her home along.
I fell in love with me the first time she met me.
Who did?
She was talking to you on the phone. She was
Oh,
already, yeah.
That's
So
so
yeah,
yeah.
beautiful. Oh
yeah.
wow. So
So
when do
he
you
knew that.
go ahead?
No, I'm sorry, go on.
Who said I love you first? Is that a dirty question?
Oh,
Both of y'all. I love you too.
Technically, I did. Technically, I did.
That's so
Technically, I
cute.
did.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I am such an
but we can go on record and officially say I did.
Oh, on record. Okay.
it
So
started coming
it
out of
was
my
close.
heart before. What do you call
Hmm.
it? Like a Freudian?
It was a Freudian,
It was like
Freudian
a
slip. Yeah,
slip.
yeah.
We were at a beautiful coffee house overlooking the ocean, and
Mm.
I don't. It's just like we were, and
Yeah, she just let it slip.
all of a sudden it was just like
Ah,
I was so embarrassed because I was like, "Where is it? What's happening?"
I ain't say nothing though.
everything was
So
speaking
I
at the
remember, I
same
remember that.
time.
I'll never forget that moment because because see, where I'm from, my family's from Mississippi, so we're from the Gulf
Hmm.
Coast. So
Yeah.
we were in Pass Christian at a
Hmm.
coffee house
Uh-huh.
that's run by a mutual friend of mine and my sister's, and
Hmm.
we were sitting by the window looking at
Hmm.
the beach, and I just remember it slipped, and I just kept sipping my coffee.
Hmm.
I didn't even say anything.
Uh-huh.
My heart was
And
trying not to open. I was so
we just
scared.
kept sipping, and I just looked
Oh
at it.
my
We just
gosh,
kept.
really?
Like my
Oh,
heart was speaking for what before me and trying to talk to me that
Mhm,
this is the person. This
mhm,
is the
that's
person.
your
And
person.
I was so scared of love and so
Hmm.
scared to trust again and so
Hmm.
scared that this could be it. I
Yeah.
didn't want to give it away, but it was like my soul was just going. I was like, what has happened? I can't even what I was
It's
like,
once you drop the L, it's
yeah.
like it's on.
I was like,
It's like it's
Oh,
when you
yeah.
go get married, like
Oh,
because we
man.
have been through it all, so there's nothing left to seal the deal. So I like that. That's such a beautiful story. So how long have you guys been married?
we've been together 3 years. This is our second year.
It'll be 2 years come June,
Hmm.
June 24th.
2 years, and you're still honeymooning. Of
Yeah,
course, I know
Yeah,
you are because I can see it
that's
all
what's
over
in,
you.
yeah, that's what's
My friend
interesting.
said I love it. She's like, when people get love, they get
That's
this
what's
love sick.
interesting. Yeah, that's what's interesting for us is
Mhm,
is 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 being knowing where we've come from and
mhm,
being through what we've been through, and then along with that, I think about our ages.
Mhm.
It's weird. It's weird for us to say that we're honeymooning, but
Mhm.
technically we
Yeah.
still are. Yeah, which
Yeah.
is interesting.
It's okay.
But
So I'm 45 and he's
Mm.
52,
53.
53.
I'll be 54 in
And he
September.
doesn't look it.
Mm-mm.
I'll take that.
Y'all
Don't
look
sit on these
good.
50-year-olds. Don't
Yeah.
sit on these 50-year-olds.
That's when they better wake up.
I'm telling you.
Oh man.
Everybody don't look their age, so you can't even say, "Well, I would never date this person that's
Uh,
45 or 50 or 60 because they don't look their
yeah,
age." I just saw a lady post and she said she was 54 and he was 72. I couldn't tell the man was 72. I couldn't tell he was
Yeah.
past 60. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like
yeah,
he looked good. So you might be missing out on a good guy because you just saw on paper, or he told you.
yeah, yeah,
Some good guys out here. And they may be a little older than you. They may not have everything that you want them to have right away. But at the end of the day, love is the most important thing to have.
And
I
look,
don't
the
care.
50-year-olds, they can keep up. Them 50-year-olds can
Mhm.
keep up, y'all. Don't sit on
Oh,
them
yes.
50-year-olds.
Yes, I see a lot of them, and then they be out working people, even the young people in the gym. It's like, what the heck? It's like, it's like, let me get up, step up my game. But a lot of people, we miss out. We just really miss out because we're prejudging a person. But there's some great guys who may just recovering from this or that or whatever, just got out of prison. Now there's some guys just got out of prison. You
Mhm.
need to just let them keep walking. Okay, but there's some people
Mhm.
who recover, and there are really good people
Yeah.
that had an encounter, and they just turned the whole leaf, and they might be your bestest buddy. He's like,
Yeah.
and y'all just
Yeah.
ride or die. So I just
yeah.
say be open.
Yeah.
And I'm just so happy. Thank you so much for coming on and allowing me to interview you and you tell your great love story. That's so beautiful. All the different things that you guys been through. It's if we're looking for a perfect love story, there is no perfect love story. But
Yeah.
it's what I always say, the love story is perfect for the people that it's happening to. So if
Yeah.
somebody else
Oh,
might
absolutely.
may hear and be like, "Oh, well, mine, I had he pulled up in the Bentley and it's all this other stuff," but this person he's in the Maserati to you because he's loving every part of you. He's the Rolls
Yeah.
Royce of the men in the pool that you have been pulling from, and you just like,
Yeah.
I don't care how yours started, but mine is perfect for me. So God always
Yeah.
sends us somebody that's perfect for us. Don't look for
Yeah.
the other person, what they have. Be inspired by it, but always look for what's perfect for you. And your person is coming. And John and Deanne they're the perfect persons to let you know that it will happen. Just when she was about to give up, it came he came sliding right on into our comments. Wasn't a DM this time,
Mhm.
but he came sliding. So she was all putting herself out there, and it just seems like she was getting more of what she was used to doing. But sometimes we have to switch up, ladies,
Hmm.
with what we are used to, our preference, and try something different so we can open up the market to us. It's just like a job. You just keep going for the same type of job. Then sometimes the best jobs is somebody you slid into something you not even had nothing to do with your degree or anything.
Hmm.
You just happen to start doing it and you love it. At the end of the day, loving what you do, loving who you are, loving who loves you back is the most important thing, and loving your God. That's the basic thing that you need to follow. Love God with all your heart. Um, Trust Him for your relationships, like this beautiful couple did. God cannot steer you wrong. There are so many people, even Christians, we have dated, we've gotten it wrong. We're people, we're human, we make mistakes, and a lot of people they're dating to get it right. They're starting careers, they're doing all kind of things, but nobody's perfect. So the imperfect journey is perfect for them, and it's a beautiful love story. And I thank you for joining me. I love you guys. I am Jada Coast. Do you have any final words to say to anybody? Anything you want to say to encourage the women? Because mainly my platform is for women, but it could be a man if you want to say something to a man, John. But anything you guys want to say to encourage singles?
I would just say it's worth the wait. The alternative is pain that you don't want. It's a cost that you don't want, and you don't want your journey to be any harder than it needs to be.
Mhm.
Enjoy your singlehood, your singleness, fall in
Mhm.
love with yourself,
Mhm.
travel, be adventurous,
Mhm.
just discover who you are, be whole, become a whole person. So when you
Yes.
get married, you could be joined and as a whole person.
A whole person.
Let your full time job be. I restore myself emotionally,
Mhm.
mentally, and spiritually. And in the midst of that
Yes.
journey, the Lord will bring the person, like you said, that perfectly fits in your life puzzle. Perfectly
Mhm.
fits in that.
I like that.
Okay.
Child, you have
I'll just
anything?
I'll just reiterate, and this is for men and women.
Mhm.
Therapy, gym, Jesus. That's for everybody. Those three right there, you'll
Therapy,
be on
Jim.
point.
Jesus.
Yeah, you'll be on
That's
point. You do those three, you'll be good.
self-care. Self-care and keeping God first. I like that. Thank you so much. I'm Jada Coach, and this is Love Aligned. And we'll be back with another love story to inspire you to wait on God. Don't get discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Know that God has this perfect person for you. And at the right time, God will highlight you to that person and he will walk into your life in an undeniable way. You too will have a beautiful love story. It's your girl Jada Coach. Until next time, have a great day, you guys. Love you. Bye.